only allows people a release for all the hatred and violence that they keep up inside them.
Why don't you guys kill someone tonight?
Because we don't feel the need to, Johnny.
Just remember all the good the Purge does.
We'll be fine just like always. No worries, okay?
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge. At the siren, all emergency services will be suspended for 12 hours. Your government thanks you for your participation.
Help me! Someone, please, help me! I just need to get somewhere safe. Does anybody hear me?
Let's go! This way!
Tony!
This way, hurry!
Why did you let him in our home? We have no idea who's after him.
Our target for this year's Purge is hiding in your home. You have 1 hour to find him and give him to us, or we'll kill all of you.
They can't get in here, right? They can't get into our home.
We're gonna make it through tonight, and everything is gonna be okay.
Nothing is ever going to be okay again.
Hello, welcome to Movie Uppers. My name, Bob Sham.
My name is Angela.
This sound you hear may be dogs, and we are rolling along, chugging along in our dystopian future movies, which we're calling Some Bullshit Tomorrow. You can think of this month's theme as the aftermath of last month's theme, which was war movies, glory and propaganda. Also, I want to point out for anyone who's watching that I am super fashionable wearing my GQ, which stands for Gentleman's Quarterly bucket hat. So I'm looking fleek. Do they still say that? I'm looking way fleek right now.
You're a quarter of a gentleman.
Is that what that means? I sent them $15 and they said, we'll send you a bucket hat and 6 months subscription to our magazine. So I'm going to rub those cologne ads all over my face. I really just wanted this bucket hat. Mm-hmm. When I saw that I could get a bucket hat that said GQ, it was just stupid enough it worked. I mean, it's
Bringing
GQ.
it back the bucket hat.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fashionable if it didn't have the letters GQ on it. I'm going to wear this everywhere. Today, we're discussing a film that became a hit franchise. This movie cost $3 million and made $93, so you could say it was a hit. It's The Purge from 2013, directed by James DeMonaco, written by James DeMonaco, starring Ethan Hawke, Lena Heady, who played Cersei in Game of Thrones, Adelaide Kane, Max Burkholder, Edwin Hodge, Riz Wakefield, among others. Produced by Blumhouse. And Michael Bay did also help produce this movie. The Purge from 2013. This is one of those movies that is like near future. They predicted something to start in 2013. They predicted it would start in 2017, right?
They predicted 2017, and this movie takes place in 2022.
Yes, so 2 years ago, based on this movie from 2013. And yeah, it happened. We're here.
People be killing.
As though our American society doesn't churn rightward enough, this movie is like, yeah, it could get worse. There's something about this concept that seems ridiculous, but I think the reason that DeMonaco got a hit on his hands is that you can't help but imagine yourself or what you would do in the concept of the Purge. Like, how would you approach it? For starters, I wouldn't be putting blue flowers out. I couldn't imagine anything like this ever happening. I don't think it would happen like this, but the concept of the Purge is that on one night of the year, all crime is legal. And
from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Majority of the country is low on crime. Unemployment is at 1%. And they credit that it's the Purge that is the reason. People can get this off their chest. But what ultimately is happening is that people who are, we'll call them, they're straight Nazis. They're going to go out and they're going to find people that are homeless, the most vulnerable, the poor, the mentally ill, who have no protections. And I have a feeling that they do their little census of unemployment rates and crime after the Purge.
For sure.
I think in reality, if you think about it, crime would have to spike hard, like leading up to the Purge. People being desperate to do anything to prevent or to help themselves. Like, I think if this was a real thing,
like stealing weapons and stuff.
Yes, I do think crime, as you would approach the Purge day, would spike hard. All the unemployment and shit would also be up right before the Purge. They're not counting all that before the Purge. They're counting it yearly after the Purge. The reason why there's no unemployment and no homelessness is because they're killing all the homeless people.
Yeah, and they do have different folks talking on news programs in the background a lot of times. There is someone who posits that, basically says, is this really something good, or is this the haves trying to just get rid of the have-nots, which is what it is.
It's they talk about this like it's a new turning point in American history. They reference the new founding fathers that set this up and saved society.
I would like to know how they posit you get to this point.
Well, there is one called The First Purge.
Right.
Maybe you should go check that out.
Maybe I will.
Let's talk about the rules of the Purge before we get into the movie. They start with sirens blare throughout the land to signal the start and end of the Purge.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge sanctioned by the U.S. government.
All police, fire, and medical emergency services remain unavailable.
Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the Purge. All other weapons are restricted.
Class 5 weaponry, such as explosives, is prohibited, which explains why no one's just burning everyone's house down. That could have these rules kind of do make sense in terms of the power structures that are allowing it to happen.
The weapons we see are guns and knives.
Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the Purge and shall not be harmed.
When I first heard about this, I was like, oh, well, what I would do is
kill the politicians.
Spend the whole year gathering a militia, and we just attack their fucking enclave that they all go hide to.
Can't do it.
Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the Purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Violations of any Purge rules will result in public execution.
Yeah, but anything you do between those 12 hours, you cannot be held responsible for.
Our man, Ethan Hawke, who is in this stage of his career, is finding homes in horror. He's had a real good career, and he's definitely figured out how to keep it going. But he plays James Sandin, and he is the #1 seller of security systems in his little cornball ticky-tack McMansion neighborhood. He seems like the perfect family guy, the guy that supports the Purge. He makes excuses for this for the family and all the neighbors. It's all about the keeping up with the Joneses in this neighborhood.
It is. They're in a very richy neighborhood. They have this security system, as does the rest of his neighborhood.
Mr. Kelly, you getting one last walk in before lockdown, huh?
Yeah.
Did you do the systems check I recommended?
Of course, no problems.
Okay, yeah, it's the same one I use. I only sell the best. All right, nobody's bothering us tonight.
Well, you have a safe night, Mr. Sanders.
Thanks.
There is a very pointed conversation between one of the neighbors and the wife, wherein she brings them cookies and says, "Oh, love your new addition. Some people in the neighborhood are saying that we bought it for you with the security systems we bought from your husband."
Oh, yeah, a little bit of a clue there.
It's totally a clue. You have a very pointed threat of someone who seems to be jealous of them and might want to get rid of them. And then you have the chaotic threat of rich little kids who just
young
want
Republicans
to
who want to kill
murder.
black homeless people. Yeah, guns and securities lobbies are thriving in this world, right? And Ethan Hawke's character of James Sandin is amongst those that's really making it. And he only sells the best security systems. And if you can afford these security systems, you're surely going to buy one. Because he may not be at the rank of a government official, but they're rich, so they have the means to protect themselves better than most anyone else would.
Definitely.
And to think about, like, what if cops get attacked? Are they a part of the government rank
that is immune? They could be. They probably are.
Oh, there is a point where they add, because apparently the neighbors usually do a purge party, which they've been doing. The purge has been going on for like, what, 8 years? 7, 8 years?
This is the 6th year.
6 years. And they're like, no, we're not doing the purge party this year. And it's like, oh, okay.
But they have all these cameras, and they can see all around their house. They can see down the street, and they can tell that there's a purge party happening after the sirens go off. All these folks from the neighborhood gather together. They wouldn't have gone anyway, but they were pointedly excluded from this.
Yeah, which you do get that feeling, right?
They have a son who has this little robot baby drone.
Yeah, he built this thing that's a camera, a remote control car with a camera on it.
That plays creepy 1920s music. He has this little robot that he drives around the house, constantly scaring people. They have a teenage daughter who is dating a boy who dad does not approve of because he's a little bit too old. At the beginning of the purge, they all gather in this one room where all of these cameras are, and the house goes into lockdown. Then they just leave the room and try to act normal.
Even if I'm in a super maximum lockdown, this is the one night a year where I'm up all night watching security.
We are camping out in a panic room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watching television. No one leaves the room.
But they have faith in the purge, right? They believe in it. They have blue flowers set out outside their house, which signifies that they support the purge. The kids question Dad, right? Like, why don't you go out and just kill people if you support this so much? And
yeah, his son says he learned it about in school that day, the history of the purge.
And he's like, well, I just don't feel the need to, but it's important.
Tonight allows people a release for all the hatred and violence and aggression that they keep up inside them. Okay? And yes, if your mother and I were so inclined, we would participate because it works. You don't remember how bad it was, Charlie. The poverty, all the crime. This night saved our country.
The purge begins, and everything seems quiet, and then a man runs down the street screaming.
About the same time, we've realized that the girlfriend's boyfriend has snuck back into the house before they locked it down.
I forgot about Henry's bitch ass.
And he's in her bedroom, and they're making out. And around the same time that the man starts running down the street, Henry says to the girl, hey, I'm not actually here for you. I'm here to go talk to your dad.
Yeah, we're going to set this straight, our relationship.
He can't kick me out of the house, so he has to listen to me. So she thinks he's just going to go talk.
And when he starts to go down the steps, he pulls out a pistol and immediately begins to shoot at her dad, and he's got a weapon on him, and he shoots back, and he manages to clip Henry, and Henry crawls up the stairs with the daughter, and he ends up dying, so the daughter is just distraught.
And right before that, the son had unlocked the front door and let the homeless man into the house because he was out in the street begging for help. The homeless man, he doesn't really have a name in this movie. He comes in and he's standing by the front door, but that's when Henry walks down and the firefight happens. Well, the man disappears because he doesn't want to get kicked out of this house.
Yeah.
So he's hiding now inside this house because, of course, they were yelling at the kid like, what did you do? Who is this man? Why did you let him in?
I'm so annoyed at the daughter for half this movie. She's sad that her lame-ass boyfriend is dead, but the boyfriend started shooting at your fucking dad.
Well, she's avoiding her father, but she does say to her mother when she sees her, tell dad I'm sorry.
I'm glad Henry died. Anyway.
I'm okay with it.
Henry's bitch ass.
Right about then, they don't know where their daughter is. The mom and dad and son are back in the room with the video, and someone knocks on the front door.
And it's these they're dressed like prep school kids, and they talk through the communications.
And they have masks on, except our leader, who's very much a young Patrick Bateman.
Definitely has that vibe. And he explains, like, oh, we see you have the blue flowers out. You support the purge.
You're one of the haves like we are.
Yeah, we're looking for one of the have-nots. And we're hunting someone, and they had the audacity to kill one of us. The homeless guy also has dog tags, which signifies that he's probably ex-military.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, you have a certain amount of time to just send this man out, or else we will get the equipment to break into your house and start gunning you all down.
And believe us, we can get in. And the wife says, well, they can't get in. We have your security system. And the husband goes, well, they could probably get in.
It's not...
If they have the right means to get in, they can get in.
Right. It's not like... most security systems just signify that there's a problem. Unless your whole house is going to be encased in... Remember the Batmobile in, I think, Batman Returns?
Yes.
Where it covers itself in metal or something?
Yeah.
Unless your house does that, then anyone who's going to put a lot of effort consistently enough is going to get into your house.
They didn't have bars. They didn't have metal doors.
Yeah.
They just had windows, which they didn't even close the curtains on.
They had a security door that they managed to pull off with a truck later.
Yes, they did. But it's a house at the end of the day.
They cut the power, and the son, with the little remote control baby camera, figures out where the man is, and he is hiding, and he doesn't want him to get drug out to these people. With code and flashing lights in certain directions, he shows the man where to go into his special hiding spot, his secret hiding spot.
Meanwhile, Dad's hunting this man because he wants to send him outside to save his family.
The sister sees the brother's camera, and your secret hiding spot is not a secret if your sister knows where it is. The sister says to the camera, she's like, I'm going to go hide in the hiding spot until all this blows over.
And of course, he can't tell her not to.
So when we cut to a scene where Ethan Hawke's character comes around and he sees the homeless man holding a gun, because the daughter had a gun and he took it from her, holding a gun to the daughter. He's like, I'm not going to die here tonight.
Yeah.
And Ethan Hawke's character's like,
listen, okay, you are going to die tonight. And you can either die like a man and walk outside there by yourself, or you can die like a coward and get my wife and my children killed along with you. Okay, so take that gun away from my daughter's head.
The mother is sneaking up on the guy behind him. She has a gun too. I actually kind of like how this scene plays out, because you may question why people aren't like shooting immediately, or why, because a scuffle happens. But I don't think these people have the instinct to just fire their weapons like this.
No.
I mean, the dad does after he's being shot at from Henry. You get that. But this guy, they do understand in the back of their mind that this guy is just trying to survive, that he's not actually a bad guy. If he was here to purge, he probably would have killed the daughter immediately, right?
Absolutely. They don't have a reason to kill him. He is just scared and trying to survive also.
So they scuffle, and the homeless man ends up taking a shot into his abdomen. Although I'm guessing it didn't hit anything vital, because the guy seems relatively all right by the end of the movie. Young Republican purger creeps are hanging around the house, and the way this leader of the group talks, it actually is perfect. It sounds like a just complete twat that thinks he's the funniest and cleverest guy in the room, when he's really just a rich shit that doesn't go into circles that tell him no. He says these lines that are supposed to be scary and clever, but they're incredibly fucking corny and lame.
Just keep in mind, Mr. Sandin, he was my friend, and you are not. Our equipment is arriving soon, and we will get in. Send out he or that will be thee.
But that is actually perfect.
Yeah.
How some little cunt like this would actually talk. It could be chalked up to like bad writing, but no,
it's perfect.
This guy's whole life and dialogue is just bad writing anyway.
I bid thee farewell, sweet Sandy.
The poor guy who gets the shot in the abdomen, they end up tying him up to a chair. And the young Republicans, as I love to call them, are calling for the time's almost up. We're going to get the equipment. And then the guy sitting in the chair, he says,
save your children. Take me outside.
Right before that, the kids and the mom all looked at Ethan Hawke and said, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Nothing is ever going to be the same. Why are you doing this? How are you this person? And that's then, yes, when he decides, you know what, save your kids, take me outside.
Yeah.
But Ethan Hawke says, no, I cannot do that.
Yeah. The Republicans are the ones that are actively trying to kill this homeless man. And the Democrats are the ones in the houses watching it happen.
There's some issues with this story, but at this point, you untie the man and give him a gun to help you fight the young Republicans because they just left him tied up. He eventually gets loose and he does help, but why are you going to just leave him tied up in the dark when he is on your side?
Yeah, it seemed like they're just scrambling because at that point they're getting the doors off and they're outside the house and shit.
Yeah, they've got like some big truck and they've chained everything and pull out.
I mean, at that point, when he offers to help his children by sacrificing himself, that changes all their minds and Ethan Hawke's mind.
Had a closet of guns. Give the guy a fucking gun.
Well, the young Republicans break their way in and start to walk through, and you got like...
And now they're going to kill everybody.
Most of them are wearing masks except the lead guy, Baby Trump. But Ethan Hawke's character does successfully start to gun people down, and he fucks people up while his family is hiding. So it's a scene of, you know, watching these young Republicans get shot up. But Ethan Hawke does take a knife in the gut.
From the leader.
In that very dramatic where he just comes around the corner and it's like he's holding him.
He holds him and he's like,
Your soul has been cleansed, Mr. Sandin. You've purged. Just one question for you. Was his life really worth yours? Your family's? Thank you for this unforgettable purge, Mr. Sandin.
So shit's looking scary as shit. Everything's looking bleak for this whole family. And then the neighbors start showing up with heavy duty war weapons, fully automatic.
and they start killing all the young Republicans that are left.
Yeah.
So then all the young Republicans are dead. Ethan Hawke is dead because he did die from his wounds after getting a couple more. He got to say goodbye to his family. I think he maybe shot one more person. The neighbors get the mom and the kids in the foyer, and at first they're thankful. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for saving us. The head bitch woman, the blonde who gave the cookies earlier, says, oh, you might not want to thank us.
Because we're here for you.
We were having our party and we weren't thinking about you, but then we saw you having some trouble and we saw an opening to where we could get in here and get you ourselves.
The Keeping Up with the Joneses, where they're jealous of this family and who've made all this money selling them security systems. Well, you're going to buy these systems from somewhere. He didn't make the world. I mean, fuck him for supporting this in the first place.
And it's three couples out of a whole neighborhood of people who are pissed.
They're all going to execute this whole family because they're jealous of them. They will consume each other when left to their own devices as much as they'll try to fuck over everything else. This is just bad faith humanity. No real moral structure, truly, even though they may tout biblical shit or whatever for their own ends and benefits. No, these are just zero flat people, don't know how to do anything but just loathe each other, and through loathing each other, loathe themselves, but they'll never understand that it's themselves they hate, so they will hate each other and they will consume each other.
Also, every announcement that gets made when the purge starts and when it ends with something along the lines of, and God bless America.
You're right.
So it is very...
It's heavy-handed, and it's obvious what it's talking about. So,
it would be.
Conceptually, it's rich enough that you can't help but mentally play into this world, this structure. I mean, to give DeMonaco some credit, that's his name, some credit in terms of what he's created here. He has created something that can make the viewer just build their own world within it. So that's why it becomes easy to imagine different angles on sequels and shit like that. I don't know how good any of these movies are. This is the first time I'm watching this one. And I don't think it's a bad movie. But the homeless veteran gets the drop on the neighborhood yuppies. And
he shows up and shoots one of them in the head.
He's holding the gun and he's made them at gunpoint free the family. And then he says to Lena Heady,
I love this.
Your call.
it over with. Kill us quickly. Oh, for God's sake, just do it. Come on.
Oh, they're going to kill us.
Doesn't matter. We are going to play the rest of this night out in motherfucking peace.
So she has them at gunpoint sit at the kitchen table until the 12-hour end of the purge alarm screeches.
Oh, but like 2 minutes before, bitch blonde tries to grab Lena's gun, and Lena like fucking slams her head into the table.
Did you hear what I said? No more killing tonight!
Is it that hard to understand?
And then the alarm blares, and that's the end of the purge.
Our homeless man starts to walk out the door, and she stops him and says, hey, are you gonna be okay? And he says, yeah, and he just wants to leave. She fucking should have given him a bunch of money or something.
Or just let him stay there.
Well, yeah, tell him to stay, drive him to the hospital, pay his hospital bill. She has a bunch of money.
Or
I'm just saying.
treat him there, because emergency rooms are going to be backed up.
That's true.
And they were. They said as much. The Purge. I thought it was kind of pretty good. I didn't mind it at all. I don't expect the sequels to be better. I just, as a rule. But, yeah, James DeMonaco, he popped something off here. It's a little obvious. There's nothing subtle about it whatsoever, but that's okay. Most horror is not very subtle, right? We're going to give this 1 through 5 each, combined for best out of 10. I think it's a 3.5.
That's what I was going to say.
Ranks it at a B. The Purge by James DeMonaco from 2013. In between The Naked Gun and Cheryl Dunye's The Watermelon Woman. It's at least as good as that movie, if not better. And I think 7 is good for this. Check the show notes for links, other places to find us. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. What would you do in The Purge? And remember the rules. I know the obvious answer is to go kill all the politicians that would push this kind of thing into place, but they got rules, well, and they'll publicly execute you if you violate them. What would you do in The Purge? Tell me, all right?
I'll see you tomorrow.